Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, the series where I share my review and my opinion on different video games that I've experienced. Today's video is about Dragon's Crown. Dragon's Crown is a 2013 beat-em-up game that combines action RPG elements. It was developed by Vanillaware, the studio known for major games such as Sphere and Muramasa of the Demon Blade. The game was published by Atlus and was released for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita. 5 years later, in 2018, the game was released for the PS4 console. The game's release was successful and the demand for the game was high and the sales skyrocketed. In fact, in an interview, George Kamitani, the CEO of Vanillaware, stated that the game's international success was much bigger than what they were expecting. However, not everything was well received, as certain journalists attacked the game for Kamitani's artistic approach to character designs, more specifically for the exaggerated designs of the Amazon and the Sorceress. Some even went as far as to call the designs softcore pornography. The game has a standard Dungeons and Dragons story. An adventurer arrives to the Highland, this game's hometown and hub world. They get involved with fights against monster attacks from ancient sites across the land, and a political coup attempt by the Prime Minister against the next heirs following the disappearance of the current king. The king killed himself to thwart the ritual by the Mormon religion in order to summon a powerful ancient dragon, sealed in the illusionary lands by the world's goddesses. Key to their plot is the Dragon's Crown, an artifact that was made with the power to control dragons. The adventurer's goal is to find the 9 talisman to enter the illusionary lands and slay the ancient dragon before it breaks free. The players are given the option to play as one of the 6 heroes: the Amazon, the Sorceress, the Wizard, the Archer, the Knight, and the Dwarf. Each of the 6 heroes are unique and play differently with each other. Some heroes have common elements, however they are not the same and they do not feel similar nonetheless. For example, the Wizard and the Sorceress have common attacks but way different specials. Similarly, the Amazon, Dwarf, and the Knight share the common element of throwing their weapons in order to pursue of melee combat. The Archer, on the other hand, she is the only hero who doesn't have anyone close to your game style. Each hero can purchase and have different bags. These bags are builds that the players can have. The weapons, potions, and armors have durability. If the party decides on going on a big farm, they will at some point break their equipment from using it or being hit. These bags are used for backups. At the same time, player can use that in order to have different builds. For example, the spellcaster's wands have one of the 3 elements: fire, ice, and electric. It's good to have at least 3 bags with one of these builds attached to it, in order to have always the advantage. For example, the Medusa and Kraken are weak to electricity, while the dragons are used to ice. The controls of the game are simple to understand, and they have a deeper mechanic for those who love to adventure and will play the game far more beyond the storyline. The heroes move around with L3 and jump with X. Double jump is also available for some heroes, and holding down will allow the sorcerers to fly. R2 is used for dodging. Dodging needs to be upgraded in order to dodge up to 3 times. Triangle is used to pick up items from the ground, such as bombs, shields, skeletons, and others. These items can be fired with square, or drop them by holding triangle. Square is the melee button. There's combinations for square such as square up, holding down square, square down, tap square, and others. Outside of combat, square is used for sprinting. The keypad is mainly used for the inventory. The right and left arrows are used to maneuver in the inventory, and down is the option to select a certain item such as potion. The up arrow and L1 are quick slots to use items. For example, holding down up or either L1 will open a cross with items attached to it. This mechanic is mostly handy for spellcasters whose spellbooks can only be accessed through the inventory. Circle is associated with each of the hero specials. For example, the spellcaster will use magic attacks, the archer will use her arrows, and the other 3 heroes will throw their weapons to proceed in melee. Similar to square button, the circle also has combinations with circle up, down, and held down. When entering a level, the players move around in a 2D linear level, where enemies will randomly spawn and the players will have to kill them in order to proceed. Each level has secret rooms for the players to explore and its own unique enemies. The levels also have plenty of traps that can be triggered by pressing them or by being timed. Once the heroes are halfway through the level, the game will require the party leader to choose a path A or path B. Each path has its own different boss, with B always being the hardest or highest level, and will reward the players with the talisman. Once the party leader takes the decision, the party members can choose which bag containing their equipment they'll use. After a level, or after at least 3 levels, given that the players proceed on their adventure instead of returning to the hub world, they get the opportunity to cook food in a camping section. A camping section offers ingredients found within the levels played and 4 different pots. 2 of them are frying pans and 2 of them are soup pots. Using the touchpad or L3, the players can pick up ingredients with X and throw them in a pot. They are given 3 types of seasoning that can be used. Once the food is ready to be consumed, it will steam and will allow the players to pick it up from the pot and serve it on their plate. Very good cooked food will reward players with extra HP, damage, MP and others that exceeds the limitation of the hero. For example, the wizard's MP is maxed to 450, however, after a good meal, it might go up to 650 and above. The buffs from camping sections last up to 2 dungeons. It is worth mentioning how the player can cook as much food as they want within 1 minute. Leveling up powers up a character. Experience is gained through the main story, side quest, and farming by entering random levels. Each time a hero levels up, their stats go up and the player can earn skills points. Another way of collecting skill points is by doing side quests that specify how many points are attached to the quest. Entering the option to empower heroes will ask the player whether or not they're gonna upgrade common abilities or hero abilities. Common abilities are abilities that all the heroes get. Common abilities are the abilities that all the hero gets, such as more HP, more space in the bag, better healing, and etc. Hero abilities are all different depending on the hero class. These upgrades can be found in the guild table in the hub world. In the hub world, players can walk in the temple. The temple allows players to resurrect the bones they gathered from fallen heroes or allow them to be buried. Resurrected heroes can be regrouped in the tavern. Praying in the temple is like asking the goddess to aid the heroes, either by praying for more lives, more XP gain, or even drop more items. It is also the place where the player can change the difficulty. The game's post-game content can be found in the form of the side quest and in the Labyrinth of Chaos. The side quests are available early in the game. As the players proceed with the story, more side quests become available in the guild table. The quests have various forms and most of them are attached to a certain level. The Labyrinth of Chaos is a game mode that becomes available once the player clears the game, at least in normal difficulty. This is the place with multiple floors and randomized enemies. The game has 1 type of collectible. This is art presented in the art museum. There's a total of 57 treasure arts for the player to collect. In order to collect the art pieces, the players have to accept all the side quests posted in the guild. Overall, this is a fun and enjoyable game to share up with 4 players, online or locally. It resembles a lot of the early 1990s arcade machines that used to be placed everywhere. The game plays smoothly and the buttons respond to all the buttons. The level design of the game is amazing, and once again needs to be stated that Vanillaware makes some of the best hand-drawn games out there. The enemy variety is relatively large and many of the enemies are unique and have plenty of animation frames in between. Furthermore, each area has secret rooms that the player have to discover by using the right combination in order to enter the passage. The food art of the game is spectacular and will most likely make people hungry upon looking at them. The main negative aspect about the game is the letter combination. Each level has letters carved on the walls that the player can use with either the touchpad or R3 and L1 to click the letters. However, every time the screen moves, it's easy to misclick a combination. Even in multiplayer, both online or local, when a player enters the code and the second player moves, the screen will once again shake and the move will cause misclick. Furthermore, there are plenty of combinations to be used, so it's easy and logical that not all players will memorize the right combination. To further prove the point, these letters are not always the same, so memorizing which code goes in which part of the map is not an option. The second thing that acts against the game is the spellcaster classes. Both the mages cast plenty of spells that are visually flashy and hide plenty of the action happening on screen. It is something that the mage players themselves won't understand, but their teammates will. The third and final is that if a player creates all 6 heroes, but then only focus on one, they will always drop items for all the classes. It may not sound bad, but here's a great example. A player creates all 6 heroes and levels 5 of them up to level 30 in order to get the class ending for a trophy, and then they proceed with their main character to make him level 90. When a player finishes a dungeon, they might get a very powerful level 90 weapon, but not for their class, and instead for a class that he left back on level 30. See what I mean? That happens a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments below who among the heroes is your favorite. For me, it's definitely the sorceress. Till then, take care and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!